Hi guys, welcome back to the Library of Alexandria. And today I'm going to do a TBR. I haven't done a TBR in a hot minute. In fact, the last TBR I did had my young son in July, and he told y'all about what books that I was going to read. So it's been a hot minute. So I'm going to do a TBR for January. This will be the longest one for a while just because I have a lot of things that I'm definitely not going to get to this month that will kind of roll over, and I'll mention those as subsequent TBRs come over, just so I can keep you guys who follow this channel aware of the kind of things that I'm planning on reading and that are on my docket, whether I get to them or not. So, without wasting any more time, let's get down to business. The first book that I'm reading and that I'm currently in the middle of, you can see here, I'm pretty far in here. I'm on page what am I on page 658 of, I don't know, almost 1,000. This is Boosh, First Man in Rome by Colleen McCullough. My first two books are going to be my read-along books, because if you saw my community post or if you're in my Discord, I'm doing a bunch of read-alongs this year, and so the read-along for the first quarter, for January, February, March, is the Masters of Rome series by Colleen McCullough. It is daunting because each of these books, this looks longer than it is, there is about 150 pages of glossary. So it's about 970-something pages, and that is still long. Like, every time I'm like, the book is long. Sal's like, well, no, it's like 900-something pages with a glossary. 900-something pages is long. It is quite long. The fact that I'm on page 658 and the book is still going is a lot. I'll talk more about my feelings about this book later, but these books are well known as epics within the historical fiction sphere, especially historical fiction about Rome. I have not had a ton, I've had some, I haven't had a ton of luck. I don't like all the historical fiction about Rome that I read, but I did like I, Claudius, and I love the Cicero trilogy, as you know, and Augustus by John Williams, for sure. So I'm reading this, and I'm enjoying it. I'll talk more about that later, but if you want to jump on that, you still can, especially if you like Roman historical fiction. It reads really easily. It is hard. The first 100 pages are tough, especially if you're not already acquainted with Rome and how the names work, because there are a lot of names and there's a lot of terminology. It's all defined in the glossary if you want to look there. But otherwise, it takes about 100 pages to acclimate yourself, but then it flows really well, and I'm really enjoying it. So, First Man in Rome, I should be done with this hopefully the next week. And then, of course, the other read-along, and this runs through January and February, is Boosh, Game of Thrones, Book 1 of A Song of Ice and Fire. So I have not read these since, the last time I read these was in preparation for Dance with Dragons back in, 2012? So 13, 14 years ago, whatever. Every time I'm talking about my favorite authors, I always forget to include Gurm, and that is because it's been so long since I've read something by Martin. And so I thought it was time to re-pick this up. And you know what? Maybe I'll have the luck of the Irish, and because I am reading them, that is when Winds of Winter will be finished. So, these books are long, and I already have, as you've seen, long books in the pile. So we're taking 2 months to read every one of these. And then we'll have discussions. Jimmy will be on the discussions about these Game of Thrones books with me, which is awesome. I forgot to mention, it'll be Sal on the Masters of Rome ones, because anytime I do read-along books, I like to have a discussion afterwards. So we'll discuss these. This will be at the end of February, beginning of March, where we discuss Game of Thrones. So if you've never read these or want to jump on for a read-along, now is a good time. And I love these books. I don't even need to reread them to know that I love them. But what if I love them less on reread? We shall see. I am also reading with Jimmy currently Boosh, Red Dragon by Thomas Harris. This is a thriller, and if you know Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal Lecter, this is actually the first book in that world with that character written. If you watched the episode 100 of Chatting with Nuts, you will have seen that I agreed to read one of Jimmy's Patron books along with him, and fortunately, it was Red Dragon. Now, as I was working in the movie theater when Red Dragon came out, and so I saw it more than one time in the movie theater. And then, several years later, I dated a girl who was super into these books, and so I read Red Dragon as well. And so to prep for this, when I started reading it, I watched the trailer again, and oh my gosh, just floods of memories coming back about this book. And so as I'm reading, I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember this. So it was great when I read it the first time. I'm enjoying the heck out of it now. And I think the movie is actually really good too. It's got Edward Norton and Ray Fiennes and Philip Seymour Hoffman. I love all three of them. So
you are an ant in the afterbirth.
We're reading it slowly, and that should be, we should finish that this month. And then finally, yet another read-along. For those who are not reading Shadow of the Apt, you should be. Boosh, Blood of the Mantis. This is book 3 of Shadow of the Apt. It's actually shorter than the first 2 by like 200 and something pages. I'm listening to all these on audio in my preparation to make it back to book 7 where I can continue. I read the first 4 in a read-along on my channel, and then I went like 4 years without reading book 5. And then I read book 5, and it was several months. It was like a year before I read book 6 after book 5. And so then I read book 6, and then, it was the end of the year. So it was 10 months again without having read book 7. And I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to reread from the beginning. But I'm listening to them exclusively on audio till I make it to book 7. And then I'll go back to reading physically. But Ben Allen is a great narrator. If you like military fantasy that has really good characters as well as like epic battles and really good world building, Shadows of the Apt should, by all rights, be more popular than it is. It is that good, guys. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, it's that good. I realize that it's 10 books long, and that's, unfortunate for some people. But when the books are this good, like 10 books, good. I've got more books in this world. It's excellent. The bug stuff turns people off. Guys, like, you don't even notice it. It's just that certain humans have developed some like bug-like characteristics. Like the beetles are stockier and sturdy, the beetlekinden. The waspkinden can fly and can shoot fireballs out of their hands. That's their sting. The antkinden all have telepathy, like they're all in each other's minds, like a hive mind. But they don't look like ants. They're just people. Like, they just look like people. They don't look like ants. Now, there are sometimes giant beetles that serve as like pack horses and giant wasps that serve as like, airships. But they also have regular airships. It's just really good. Y'all should be reading it. There's plenty of time to catch up. Pete and I are going to be discussing every 2. I'm finishing Dragonfly Falling. I'm almost done. I got like 2.5 hours left on the audio, and then I'll start this. And so then Pete and I will have a discussion about the first 2. So jump along if you want. There's still plenty of time to catch up on these books. They're fabulous. All right, so now for the pile of possibilities, if I can make it through all of these in the month of January. So, every other month I have high-tier patrons put books on the wheel, and then I spin it and put that on the patron list. And I had almost cleared out the patron list. I had it was like 3 deep, and I almost cleared it out. And I've actually really enjoyed the books that have been on the patron wheel. And so my next one that, if I can get to it this month. If not, then I just create like a line, a queue of patron books that I pick up whenever I have the space. This is Spiderlight, again, also by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is, from what I understand, this is like a D&D party, but I've been led to believe that it's like a party of like D&D characters, and it's like a spin on the whole quest party/quest genre. So we shall see. It's also quite short. It is only 290 pages, so sub 300. So I've heard it's pretty good. It's not ever spoken in like the highlights of Tchaikovsky's work. Like, it's not ever spoken of as the best of what he has to offer. But I've also never seen anybody that's read it that's like, I hate that book. That book sucks. So yeah, Spiderlight. Then, guys, this is ludicrous. This is freaking ludicrous. I have not 1, not 2. My posture's so bad now that I'm in my chair. Like, I'm just leaning on my chair the whole time instead of like sitting upright. Not 3, but 4 arcs. Like, what the frick? Why are there so many books coming out this year? I have 4 arcs, all of which I want to get to. The first one is Our Lady of Blades by Sebastian de Castell, which is book 2 in the Court of Shadows, which is like the new Greatcoats series. I have been waiting for Our Lady of Blades for like 5 years. Originally, Play of Shadows, which came out last, he had written the manuscript for, and it took a long time to come out. But then it's like, I think his publisher wanted to put Our Lady of Blades out first, but then Play of Shadows ended up coming out first anyway, and then we've been waiting, 2 or 3 years for Our Lady of Blades. So anyway, apparently in his Instagram and stuff. He's talking about this is the hardest book that he's written. I really want to read it. In between, he's written like the Malevolent Seven and the Malevolent Eight. I liked the Malevolent Seven. I did not enjoy the Malevolent Eight, but that's me. Like if you like the Malevolent Seven, you should like the Malevolent Eight. I didn't particularly enjoy it. Part of that is probably because I listened to it on audio. I did not enjoy the audio from Malevolent Eight. But regardless, I am super excited to read Our Lady of Blades because, as you know, I am a Greatcoat fiend, and I really enjoyed Play of Shadows, and I also enjoyed Crucible of Chaos. The next two arcs are freaking Richard Swan arcs. I have one, Steel Gods, which is book 2 of the Great Silence. Grave Empire was the first one. As you saw a couple years ago, if you watch my channel, I really enjoyed Grave Empire. It is a sequel to the Empire of the Wolf. It starts with Justice of Kings. And it is surely Flintlock. It is excellent Flintlock. And also mixed with horror. It reminds me a lot of The Monarchies of God by Paul Kearney, which no one reads, and you should. You should read books 1 through 4 and then never read book 5, because book 5 isn't good and it's not necessary. And I loved books 1 through 4, and then book 5 is so bad, and I don't understand why it was ever written. So I'm super excited for Steel Gods. And also, I got an arc of The Infinite State, which is his sci-fi book that's coming out, book 1 of the Decurion saga, and it is about a fascist empire in space. So we'll see what that is. So I'm excited to read that. And then I got an arc from Fonda Lee. I'm hoping it'll change my life, just like Jade Legacy is supposed to. It is the last contract of Isako, and it is samurai in space, something like that. This is like samurai bounty hunter in space. So we'll see if that's good also. I keep reading sci-fi. Like I'm reading way too much sci-fi these days, but we'll see. So that's on there also. I don't anticipate getting to all of these. Blood of the Mantis I'll get to because that'll be on audio. First Man in Rome I'll get to. I'll read part of Game of Thrones. Red Dragon I'll finish. And then Spiderlight I'll probably put on hold while I try to work through these arcs. So I don't know which of those arcs. I'm probably going to read Our Lady of Blades first, TBH. Well, no. I'll probably read Steel Gods first since that comes out the soonest. So anyway. So yeah, guys, what are you guys planning on reading in January? And if you're joining any of these read-alongs, that's freaking awesome. Let me know down in the comments. This year I'm doing a lot of read-alongs, several. A couple of the series are super popular. Normally I run read-alongs of series that, I don't hear talked about a lot because that's how I roll and that's how I like it. So yeah, we'll see. If you need more information about the read-alongs, it's on my community tab somewhere. So yeah, what are you guys reading in January? That's all from me for today. As always, information about my Patreon and Discord is down in the description, and I will see you guys next time.